And the fact is that you don't want to be a situation where you're holding people up. For those of us who are bicyclists who don't like cars, you should take your anger toward cars out in some other way besides holding people up. Go to the junkyard with a gun or a sledgehammer and beat up cars. I mean, it's really satisfying. But don't hold people up, because not only does it make it dangerous for you and for your brothers and sisters on two wheels, but the fact is that you have a legal requirement to ride as far to the right as practicable to let those folks go. And in fact, as you might have guessed by now, I'm a fairly aggressive person. But I'll tell you, if I could have something on the back of my jersey when I commute, it would be, let me help you pass me. And then the subtext would be, so you get the hell away from me. I want to have my nice ride back. And I don't like to have it be in a situation where I'm like holding somebody up. And if I can help them to get around me without stopping myself or having to pull into a driveway, I want to do it so they can just get by. And you know, it's a tough situation where you're on the road, somebody's behind you, there's room to pass, they're afraid to, they don't want to, you know, have their wheel vaporized by touching the yellow line, and they've got a line of angry motorists behind them who are like starting to honk. And what can you do in those circumstances? I mean, it's a tough situation. And you know, you can kind of like do this to them and turn around and smile and like encourage them in a friendly way to come around you, because everybody else behind them will do it too. You know, it's just kind of it's a tough deal. Okay, now kind of getting to the end here. At the bottom of page 66 is the important law about signals. And I want to tell you that signals, unfortunately, are a real trap for us. Oregon law requires bicyclists not only to signal turns, but also to signal stops. Stops. Weirdly, but that's the law. And why this is so important is because if you get bumped by somebody and they just weren't paying attention, but you were turning or stopping and you didn't use a signal, they at the scene may say, oh man, I'm so sorry, oh shoot, you know, it's all my fault, blah, blah, blah. But a month later, you're going to get a bill for the scratches you put on their car from their insurance company saying, oh, well, the witnesses said that you didn't signal before this happened, and therefore you were in violation of the law. So cover yourself. You don't need to like signal when nobody's around, but when you're in close traffic, signal. And you got to signal for 100 feet before. Left turn, right turn, it's so easy. Left turn, right turn, you know, like this. But you're a bicyclist, so when you do this, you're not going to hit your passenger in the face. So you can do this for a right turn. And when you signal a stop, you just put your arm down like this. And all the bicyclists do it in the pelotons anyway. When you go on a group ride, we all signal for each other we're going to stop. It feels a little funky at first, but when you got somebody right behind you, just do this. And the law says that if you got to use both hands on the handlebars to shift or use your brake or something, if you take a look there, you can put both hands on the handlebars. But when you are like able to use the signal again, then do it for 100 feet before the turn. It's pretty simple. And once you get into the habit, it works fine. Then bicycle equipment. I just want to have you go to page 69. Every bicycle is illegal when it comes out of the bike store because it doesn't have a front light. You need a front white light. Can you imagine manufacturers selling cars without headlights? I mean, and then, look, I know that the world is that in Oregon, we got about 200 days of overcast a year. And so we've got enough ambient light from the city hitting the clouds and bouncing back down. You don't need a front white light to see. It's total CYA, because those motorists, they can see you without a light, and you can see without a light. But you need a white light to the front, whether it's on your bike or on your helmet, because if somebody says later that they couldn't see you because you didn't have a light, you want to be able to say, I had my blinky light on my helmet, or I had my blinky light on my handlebars. So you've got to have a white light, and you've got to have it under limited visibility conditions. Just because you don't want to get in a situation where you get hurt and somebody uses it against you. You only have to have a rear red reflector. You don't have to have a light to the rear. But, you know, it's a good idea, but it's not required by the law. Now, out of time, and I just want to tell you that we collected all the laws about sidewalks. I told you you could ride on the sidewalk anywhere. But if you take a look at page 78 and page 79, you will see a collection of all the cities, including Salem, for those of you who live in Salem, and Portland, which tells you on page 78 and 79 where you cannot ride on the sidewalk. Southwest Jefferson to Front to Hoyt to 13th. And take a look at the maximum fine. $500. And that's a 24/7 prohibition, no matter what the reason or what age you are. And the fact is that if you ever get a ticket for this, go to court and get into one of the diversion programs so you don't have to pay the fine. And then there's the typical stuff you'd expect from a lawyer about what to do if you're in an accident and about insurance that's contained in the back of the book. I do want to tell you, folks, for those of you who have car insurance, there's 3 types of insurance. There's liability to cover when you hurt somebody. There's PIP, personal injury protection, which is no fault, to pay everybody's bills. And there's UMUIM, underinsured motorist coverage. UMUIM is really important for us bicyclists because it applies to us as bikes, even though most insurance companies and maybe adjusters will try to say it doesn't. And the reason it's so important for you is that if you're riding your bike and you get hit by some brain-addled, drug-addicted person driving a stolen car without insurance, they don't have anything to pay for your bills. But if you have UMUIM, and you all do anytime you have a car with car insurance in Oregon, you can make a claim against your own policy. However, the minimum is like $25,000. But in insurance law, if you have more than the minimum, like 10 times the minimum UMUIM, when you go to say to your insurance agent, I think I want to increase my UMUIM limit, the insurance agent doesn't say, you're not a bicyclist, are you? No, they don't, because they just sell it to you. And the nice thing about UMUIM is that you can get 10 times the limit, the minimum limit, for barely more than the minimum. And what folks who have a lot of insurance know is that insurance is like a talisman. If you've got a lot of insurance, you never get hurt. That's why those paranoid people who buy a lot of insurance never get hurt. And the insurance companies know that too. That's why it's so cheap. So you can buy a whole bunch of insurance, and that way, if you really get nailed by some idiot, you don't have to feel like you're going to be a burden on your friends and family, because at least you increased your insurance limit for not very much money. So UMUIM, raise your UMUIM. It'll make you feel a little bit safer when you're out there. And then finally, there is a section in the back about insurance. And it contains on page 125, the insurance company rules and regulations that hardly anybody knows about. This is so important because these laws are what drives the standards for conduct by insurance folks. And if you are feeling like you're getting pushed around or abused by a claims adjuster or an insurance person, what you can do is tell them that you went to a seminar and you learned all about insurance. And you would like to share your new knowledge with them so that you can get your relationship off to the right foot. You could scan or fax them the rules that they're supposed to follow, because you also learned at the seminar that if they don't follow these rules of courtesy and forthright conduct and honesty, you're supposed to report them to the Oregon Insurance Commissioner. And you know, and they know, that they would probably get in trouble if you had to do that, and you don't want to do it. So let's make it so that we just follow the rules throughout this relationship, and they will treat you with dignity and respect, and things should go okay. And I've found that a lot of times when somebody's starting to feel like they're getting pushed around, talking about the rules a little bit tends to turn things in a correct direction. So thank you for coming. I hope that this is helpful for you. Join the BTA. Join us. Help us with the legislature. Be safe. Thanks for coming.